Welcome to North of the Broad. I'm your host, Karen Wyman, coming to you from Higher Ground in Buford. We have a great show lined up for you today, so stay tuned for more North of the Broad. Welcome to North of the Broad. I'm your host, Karen Wyman, coming to you from Higher Ground in Buford. I'm joined this afternoon by Danielle Brydung, who is the program coordinator for VITA, which is through the United Way of the Low Country. Correct. Welcome to the show, Danielle.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm glad that you're here. I know that you have a lot of information to share with our viewers this afternoon. And I guess one of the biggest ones is, what is VITA? You're the first-time guest and first time for me hearing about your program. So I'm sure there's people out there who are not informed and would love to know a little bit more.
Perfect. So VITA stands for Volunteer Income Tax Assistance, and it's a national program operated through the Internal Revenue Service. In the Low Country, we partner with United Way of the Low Country and Beaufort County, as well as other sponsors, to bring this program to 7 counties. So we serve Allendale, Bamberg, Barnwell, Colleton, Beaufort, Jasper, Hampton counties.
You're a busy lady.
I am a busy lady.
That's an enormous geographic area to cover. So lots of information, sure, for anybody who's living in any of those 7 counties who could benefit from the program. So tell viewers out there exactly how the program works and what benefits it offers them.
Perfect. So VITA is a volunteer-based program. So volunteers who want to get involved with the program would become certified by the IRS, and we help them through that whole process. So it's not as if they have to go out and find all that information.
Sure, you sort of walk them through what the requirements are, what they need in order to be volunteered.
Right. And they don't have to have prior tax knowledge. So that's one of the main misconceptions we have with volunteers, is they think they have to have an accounting degree
or be a CPA.
Do this full time. They don't. And there are multiple volunteer roles. So we're always looking for people to do intake. That basically means having nice rapport with people. Then we also have people get certified to do taxes. We have site coordinators, we have community outreach people, because it takes the whole community to make this program happen, especially because it's seasonal. So it's not as if it's on people's radar all the time. Taxes come up and then it's suddenly, oh my gosh, where do I go?
Where do I go and where do I find the people in order to fill those roles, as you said, during that specific period of time during the year when obviously the need increases and it's
big time
forefront on people's minds. So who is eligible? What's the customer base and what are the eligibility requirements in order to get some assistance?
So there's 4 main criteria, and you only have to meet one of them to be eligible for our services. They are low to moderate income, which we define broadly speaking. So basically, for each individual adult in the household, around $55,000. So low to moderate, like I said, that encompasses a huge swath of the population, which is good.
Which is good, yeah, because there's a lot of people here that in those counties that would fall within that range.
Definitely, who would probably rather do their taxes for free with the help of volunteers than go and pay for it. Elderly is another one of the criteria, and that's 60 or older. Differently abled, and that's a self-identified scenario. So we aren't going to interrogate you to see paperwork to see that you're differently abled, but a disability of some kind, whether physical or mental. And then the last one is limited English proficient. So this program was also designed to serve folks who didn't speak English as a first language and would therefore be potentially more vulnerable to be taken advantage of, because our tax law is so complicated and really challenging to navigate.
So where does the program operate out of? I know we talked about, you and I, about the Low Country, United Way of the Low Country facility here in Buford. There's an office, but are there other locations within those 7 counties that people can go and receive services?
Definitely. So we operate out of approximately 20 locations throughout the course of the tax season. Some of those are one-day events, but the majority are traditional ongoing services that we operate on a weekly or twice-weekly basis from January 30th, that's our start date, all the way through the 18th of April. So some of the locations in Beaufort County specifically include the library branches, so St. Helena, Beaufort, Lebico, Bluffton, we operate out of all of those, as well as Goodwill Industries on Highway 278, and the Deepwell Project on Hilton Head Island. So we offer hours of operation during the day, also on the weekends and some evenings to accommodate for people's different schedules.
Wow. So I understand that there's also tax-free assistance line. There's a line that people can call if they're not necessarily need to go and sit down with someone, but there's a 1-800 number that they can call?
Well, we do operate a telephone number for our coalition specifically, so if people have a question while they're filing online, which they can do for free at myfreetaxes.com, or if they have a question about our facilities, where we're operating, or making an appointment, we operate a telephone line and the number for that is 843-321-9071. And that's primarily functional during tax season, but we do help people after tax season to sort through any correspondence that they may receive from the IRS.
Right, so we do know that some people know that, just because you file your taxes doesn't necessarily mean that it's all signed, sealed, and delivered.
Right.
Sometimes there are things that happen afterwards where people need some assistance, so you do continue that line. Is that line maintained now? Or
It is.
Excellent, so people can call if they're looking for assistance. Obviously, they need to meet one of those 4 criteria.
Right.
Wonderful. So you told us the dates and when it starts. How has it had an impact on this community? What sort of turnout and volume have you seen since the onstart of this program?
So this program started in 2008 because the IRS identified that Beaufort County taxpayers were leaving $4 million in unclaimed tax credits. So they said to Beaufort County, you should really do something. And
your taxpayers are not as informed as they could be.
That's right. And we have this program that's designed to serve people who sometimes don't file. So the VITA program was started then, and since then we've served 14,000 households and had a $30 million impact on the local
Hobie
economy.
thinks that's great information.
Yeah, definitely. So last year was about a $4.2 million impact, and over the course of these 9 years, it's been around 30, like I said.
Wow, that is just amazing. That,
Yes.
that there's that much money left on the table because of just not being educated
Right.
around taxes in general, just a very specific area that people probably don't know a lot about, and the ability to really make sure that that money stays in people's pocketbooks and in their households. It's probably goes to some major living expenses that that they need every single day in order to survive for some
You're
people.
absolutely right. We did a survey of taxpayers last year, and we found that about 80% were planning to use their tax refunds on basic needs,
Yeah.
like shelter and food and transportation,
and possibly-
medical bills,
and clothing.
things like that, definitely. So it does make a huge impact on people's ability to obtain some level of family stability.
Wow. So this requires a lot of volunteers every year, and as we come to the end of our interview here, if you're looking for volunteers, how can people, maybe they're retired and they have accounting experience, math experience, or really looking to give back to the community, what's the best way for people to get involved and help out this great program?
So on our website, which is www.VITA-lowcountry.org, there is a volunteer page that you can fill in, and that sends an email directly to me to let me know that I'm interested, that the individual is interested in volunteering. Yes.
Excellent. And there's a screening process. So, well, thank you so much, Danielle. This is valuable information. I think a lot of us who are here and working in the community were unaware that this program existed, and now it's a great opportunity for us to share with people who may be able to benefit, or from those people who are looking to help and give back in some way. Well, thanks for being a guest on North of the Broad.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Wonderful. We'll be right back with our next guest.